Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all who testified here today. Let me start with some good news and relating to our Hawaii graduation initiative. A few months back, UH was selected to participate in a major project of the Association of Public and Land Grant Universities, or APLU. And this is a national initiative, probably the largest ever. It's now called Powered by Public, Scaling Student Success. And this is a group of 130 public university and systems that are working together in clusters to increase college access, close achievement gaps, and ultimately to award hundreds of thousands more degrees. For us, this is in support of our graduation initiative and Hawaii's 55 by 25 goal. Last weekend was actually the first in-person kickoff meeting with probably 300 or so participants from across the country. We're in a cluster of Western state participants, the University of Alaska system, and the others are individual universities. And our group is planning to look at some issues specific to us that our institutions identified, including success of Indigenous students. We have more of them in our region than most others. We're looking at how we can do a better job of actually engaging all of our faculty in the student success agenda. Our faculty are amazingly engaged already, and we think there's more they can do outside of the classroom to help us, given their interest in the success of our students. And we're really interested in looking at the barriers to success at every stage along the way, from financial aid and registration to transfer and graduation. A second project, I should mention that project with APLU is supported by the Gates Foundation. So one of our objectives is to be connected to the major higher education funders across the country, even indirectly, if not always directly. A second major project we're just announcing this week is the Adult Promise program. And this is funded by the Lumina Foundation, which is another major funder of higher education in this country. And we received $400,000 to support our program that we've talked about several times about our work to support adults who want to earn college degrees. We have identified thousands and thousands of students in this state who have some college, no degree, and that's the first place for us to start, how to bring them back. And you've heard from Vice President Morton and some of our community colleges, but I want to emphasize, while the community colleges have been on point, this is an effort of the entire system. Our goal is to get adults into college and through college with degrees that help them, their families, and the communities. To mention one important research project that was highlighted, I've reported to you the work of our new Cancer Center Director, Randy Holcomb, in helping us achieve our continuing NCI designation. This month we announced 2 new breast cancer trials out of the Cancer Center. One of the main reasons that we are so passionate about the importance of maintaining an NCI designated center is because of the ability that we have uniquely to do research in Hawaii on the health disparities that face the people of Hawaii, including but not limited to Native Hawaiians. In this case, we have a clinical trial on the use of aspirin to treat breast cancer patients, which doesn't sound that amazing, but if it works, it will be amazing. And then also a digital mammography breast cancer clinical trial. Right now, the breast cancer incidence among Hawaiian women is 24% higher than for Caucasians, 60% higher than for Chinese, 12.4% higher than for Japanese, and the mortality rates are similarly higher across all of these ethnic groups, more than twice as high for Chinese. So that's the reason that we need to do this work in Hawaii. It can't be done anywhere else. And part of the reason NCI was interested in us is our ability to also scale that into Asian populations and particularly Pacific Island populations. I do want to comment on the 30-meter telescope decision. As you all know, the decision was rendered to support the Conservation District Use Permit 4-1. We are, of course, pleased that the state Supreme Court supported our application for a conservation district use permit. I do want to say this is not a source of jubilation for me personally. Our community is deeply divided. Our students and our faculty, many passionately support the project, many just as passionately or more so oppose the project. Whichever way this decision went would hurt many people deeply within our university. I want to assure the Regents that the administration is committed to ensure that the project is accomplished appropriately and with deepest respect for Maunakea. This project and our ongoing stewardship of Maunakea not only represent a major advance in humankind's knowledge of the universe, and that's what we will achieve with this major telescope advance. When we do it right, it will also have a tremendously positive educational and economic impacts for the people of Hawaii Island and the entire state. You passed a resolution last year, and the administration embraces that fully. We stand completely committed to collaborative stewardship that demonstrates Maunakea as an inspiring and harmonious global model for culture, education, the environment, and groundbreaking scientific discovery. Some of the work we're doing to continue to improve our performance as well. Normally we don't comment on executive policies, but just last week we adopted a new executive policy on contracts and signing authorities. I want to commend our Office of General Counsel. Thank you. This has been a work of passion and love for the first 2 years of her time and continues. This is our second version of it, and it's really into response to questions raised by Regents and others in the community about what our contracts look like, how risks are mitigated, who signs what and with what reviews. Normally a policy like this is viewed with disappointment and disdain, and I'm sure that's true for some people who are accustomed to signing contracts without much review. But a really positive part of this work, and for which I think many people are very grateful, never all, is a large set of sample contracts for different purposes, so that when we encounter something we have encountered before anywhere in the university, there's a template to go to, and our people who are working with partners can bring that template forward and offer it to their partners. We have also clarified who reviews what, so contracts don't go from office to office with people wondering why. And we have clarification and revision of waiver and release forms, looking at data security and some of the new requirements in that area. Progress continues, and so far so good, and for many people it is indeed making their work easier. One of my priorities over the past year, as I've mentioned, has been work with the UH Foundation to improve our position and effectiveness in philanthropy through greater alumni and fundraising capacity. There were really two major parts to this. One is restructuring the agreement between the University of Hawaii and the UH Foundation. That expired on June 30 this year. We have renewed it twice since then while we were working together with UH Foundation using the work of the Permitted Interaction Group that recently reported to you and then disbanded. You have the agreement before you for action today, so I won't say much more about it now, except this really lays out how we look forward to working together with the foundation, and when we get to that agenda item, we can say a little bit more. What I do want to report, which has not yet been in the local news, is that we have selected a new CEO for the UH Foundation. His name is Tim Dolan. He will start on February 1st, 2019. The selection is the result of a international search. We looked at something like 200 different people. I sat with the chair and the vice chair of the UH Foundation board, and we interviewed either face-to-face or by video 8 individuals in order to select 2 finalists who visited campus, and we're happy to have closed the deal with Tim Dolan. He's currently the Vice President of Advancement at the University of Sydney, one of the leading universities in Australia. He is just completing a $1 billion Australian dollar, so not quite a billion US, campaign, the largest in the history of Australia. He is clearly the leader in that nation. He has also worked in Hawaii, including for us. Early in his career, he worked at Chaminade and then at the UH Foundation with the Medical School and Cancer Center as a fundraiser there before moving to UCLA and achieving some senior leadership positions and then moving on to Sydney. We are very excited together. We also want to wish the best to Donna Vucinic. As you know, she retired earlier this year. Her last day will be November 30th, so very soon. If you see her, please thank her for her work on behalf of UH over these past years. And we're looking forward to our new future together with the Foundation board leadership and with Tim Dolan as the new CEO. The other permitted interaction group that the board had formed and has now disbanded was related variously to real estate and public-private partnerships. And the board asked the administration to come back and work with board leadership on how we would move forward in this area without the permitted interaction group. So the administration did meet with board leadership. We have identified the program which will be focused on all of our land-related strategic initiatives and partnerships. This will include but not be limited to contracts or agreements that are formally P3s, but we do believe that P3s will be an important and critical part of our strategy, particularly for all of our projects that involve revenue generation, such as housing. We talked about different projects having different objectives, both financial and programmatic. On the administration side, for now, we are working with a strategic leadership team that consists of myself, Vice President for Budget and Finance and Chief Financial Officer Calbert Young, and Vice President for Administration Jan Govea, with the support of our Vice President for Legal Affairs and General Counsel Kerry Okinaga. And with that as the core leadership team within the administration, that's where we're looking at the major projects, goals, scopes, and priorities. On the board side, our recommendation is that we work directly with the Planning and Facilities Committee. We think it falls within the mission, perhaps with some tweaking. Our expectation is that we would provide regular reports to the P&F committee, perhaps quarterly on all of the projects, and I will not today brief you again on all the projects, but I think I gave you a sense of those several meetings ago. At those quarterly briefings, we would ask for input from regents to help shape how we would proceed. In general, we reach a point on every project where we have to enter into a contract or agreement. At such time, we would ask the Planning and Facilities Committee to review such requests and forward them to the full board for approval. And at that point, the full board would engage based on existing Board of Regents policies as to what is delegated and what actions are necessary for the board to directly approve. We have also talked a little bit about principles for how we charge for land on our campuses, ranging from when we have purely commercial applications designed for revenue generation to when we are inviting someone else onto one of our campuses for a synergistic mission. That might be something like a charter school or a federal research laboratory, in which case we might not charge money because we have other benefits that we believe help advance our mission. So that's again something we will be working through with the Planning and Facilities Committee. For us, in thinking about success, our goal is to continue moving forward on the highest priority projects this academic year. And then by the end of this academic year, we would like to develop a plan based on our actual experience for how best to structure and staff a team that would be focused completely on these strategic real estate partnerships and movements, and that would work in collaboration with campus planning across the UH system. Let me just mention two additional items. Yesterday I had a wonderful opportunity to participate briefly in the exit meeting for a really interesting project around our Title III activities across the state. So you are familiar with our Title III projects because from time to time I have reported on are receiving $10 million to support Native Hawaiian student success. Just about 3 years ago, I got a call from a senior official in the U.S. Department of Education. It was in August 2015, asking if we would be willing to prepare a proposal that they would be willing to fund to evaluate our Title III programs. And they looked across the board and realized they had given us at that time probably, they estimated over 50 million, and they wanted to know, how did we do with our portfolio? It was a pretty exciting opportunity, other than only having 3 weeks to write the proposal, because it was end of year money. Some of you know how that works. And we've been engaged in this project. I want to thank, I don't know if Chancellor Benham is here, when she was the Dean of Hawaiʻi Nuiakea. She took leadership on this. Thank you very much, Mainette. And the team continued on with external consultants, work of the new Native Hawaiian Affairs Office and the Manoa Chancellor's Office helped keep it moving, and staff I kindly inherited after her mentorship and training. This turned out to be 44 grants across 10 campuses that amounted to over $62 million in funding. And these Title III programs are only eligible to campuses that serve large numbers of Native Hawaiian and Alaska Native students. So that was our share. Large portion of that went into renovations, about a third for facilities that actually help advance Native Hawaiian student success. Not in this period, but I'll just mention these are things like a child care facility at Windward Community College. The projects actually serve all students, not just Native Hawaiians. I'll just give you a very quick highlight. The respondents who participated in these projects and the study reported 98% completion compared to 70% for others. They were more likely to report greater satisfaction with their college experience, a higher sense of belonging, higher identity formation, and we have positive detailed data on persistence, achievement, and completion. So it was an amazing project, and also interestingly, as I was leaving, I learned that 2 of our staff who are pursuing PhDs are earning their PhDs by doing research on this project with the crack team and our consultants. So it has positive impact in developing our capacity to continue these sorts of assessments ourselves. Finally, let me mention later this month here at Honolulu Community College, we will be celebrating the release of the Moana DVD in Hawaiian. So I won't recap the project. It was an amazing piece of work by multiple campuses, System ACM, the Mele program here at Honolulu Community College, ACM at UH West Oahu, translation services from UH Manoa, and the DVD will be first released November 30th. And again, our commitment in working with Disney was that we would get 1 DVD to every accredited K-12 institution for use for educational, not entertainment purposes, to be used in teaching, in particular, language.